Oh, oh God. No, please. You smell like cheese. Could you pass the peas?
Hello, nerds! What's going on? It's Nate
And Alec.
and no Kim, as you can tell. She is doing the schoolwork. Ooh, one sec. She's doing the schoolwork, and we, as we said before, totally are going to support her and make sure that she does the things. So you get an Alec and Nate episode today, which is going to be a lot of fun. And to kick it off, why don't we hit where we've been at? What's been going on?
Yeah, so I feel like, man, I don't know what day it happened, but I know they did they dropped Echo, which was on Disney Plus, kind of a Marvel thing. I haven't really went through it, but I've been able to watch a little bit of it, and it kind of feels like they're going for something more a little grounded, I guess you'd say. I haven't watched the full thing, but I've talked to a few people who watched it, and I know they're saying that they've been saying good things about it. It's not the writing of Daredevil, but it's like they have at least the action scenes feel a little bit more towards it, which I mean, Daredevil did great with like all their fighting scenes and all that. Yeah. But I feel like it comes at an opportune time because there was news that they're not refilming, but they're rewriting a bunch of the new Daredevil Reborn. So I'm wondering if they're kind of dropping this, trying to see like that, put feelers out and stuff like that. But I will say this: I saw some news that they're going to be hiring back the actors for Foggy and Karen Page. They're bringing back the actors back for that, which I was kind of upset that they weren't bringing them back in the beginning. I feel like they left really good. You've seen up to season 3 of Daredevil, or?
I don't think I've actually seen season 3.
Oh, well, it ends like in a good spot where they're kind of moving towards the future. So it would be weird to bring them in because I think I can't remember if it's a continuation or not, but I believe that was the idea, was that it's like they're not fully rewriting the whole story over, you know? So, but yeah, it's got even the Punisher's in it as well. I don't know if it's flashbacks necessity or if he's going to be in it, like, you know, current day type thing, but I don't know. The fact that they're rewriting it and bringing some of the original cast in, it kind of makes me a little excited that it's going in the right way to where we can get it. Because I mean, first good thing, it's spread out. It's not 6 episodes; they're doing 18, which makes me feel like there's a story they're gonna tell. Which I feel like that was really good with Daredevil. Like they really did the overarching stories well, and like, you know, it played out the way it was supposed to be. So I'm excited to see that and see where that goes.
Pretty sick. Yeah, I know. There's a lot of like, even in the office, there's a lot of chatter. I know between you and a couple others regarding Echo, and I still have not watched it. So
I'm not that far into it.
Okay.
Yeah, I definitely, I don't know. I like what I see so far.
That's cool. Yeah, I'm slow moving on Marvel as of late. I don't know what it is, but
I lean back too.
okay.
I lean back too. I don't think I've seen a lot of the newer movies, and I haven't seen a lot of the newer shows, but it was kind of like Daredevil adjacent.
Yep.
And it looked like they were going for it, so I was like, I'll hop back in and see, you know, what's cooking here.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, at some point, I do plan on checking it out. I enjoyed watching Daredevil. In fact, the crazy thing is, what got me to watch Daredevil was a, believe it or not, a radio show that I was listening to.
Really?
Yeah, and you know, huge nerd is at the helm of this thing, and he goes, "Yeah, I've been watching a lot of that Daredevil." And I'm like, "Oh, really? Have you now?" Because I was like, I'm not sure if I wanted to watch it. and rave reviews. So I started watching, and I was like, wow, this really is good. I actually kind of like it. And yeah, I only managed to get in through part of season 2, I feel like. And then I stopped for whatever reason, be it there was Star Wars related stuff coming out, or you know what I mean? It's so
something else pops up.
yeah, it's always so easy to get distracted, especially when you've got these like streaming services that are putting out all this good stuff, and then you're like, oh man, I want to finish this, but then you go like completely in the other direction, you know. And it's what really like screwed me up with Loki too. It's just the fact that like I could not keep focused on Loki because around the time that came out, there was so much stuff going on.
Yeah, a lot dropping there. And
Yep.
then, yeah, that was just thing after thing for that.
Yeah. It hits you, and you're just like, oh, I'm lost. I don't know where to go back to, what to watch. But yeah, I do plan to check out Echo fairly soon. So
I would recommend too. I don't think you really have to watch Daredevil for Echo. I don't think so, because it's more Echo's backstory than it is Daredevil. But I would recommend watching all 3 seasons of Daredevil. I feel like one solid thing I can say about all 3 seasons, and I said it before they fucking canceled the 4th season, because it was on Netflix and they canceled the 4th season, even though it was written, so they can eventually the contract could lapse, so they can get it back onto Disney and all that. You know what I mean? When they were doing the Disney Plus stuff. Or it was before it. But even before that, I was saying, like, I feel like season 1 through 3 of Daredevil is like, if it ended at season 3, you'd be like, okay, that was a good story. Like, it felt like a full wrap.
okay.
For it. So, and the fact that they're rebooting it, I mean, I'm always happy to see some more Daredevil, especially if they try and keep the quality at least to the standard that they had it as. I would definitely love to see more. It's definitely a great show. I would really recommend you watching that.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, I have every intention to try to finish that up and then dive back into Marvel City, USA. Yeah, it's pretty cool, man. I saw like when they dropped the flyer for Echo, I was like, oh God, this is coming. And then it got released, and yet again, my head was in other things. So
yeah, it's big. They dropped like all 5 episodes at once.
yeah,
It wasn't like a weekly thing. I think they really just dropped it all at once because they wanted to get an idea of like, do you guys like this?
yeah,
And then when if they're rewriting Daredevil, they can kind of like put more into it. So I'm wondering if that's what was their motive. I'm not sure, but.
And the other thing too is like what I end up always end up trying to like ease Kim into like, hey, you gonna watch some Andor today? And, you know,
switching to Andor.
yeah.
She's watched a bit more, right?
Yes, she has. Yeah, which is great. She's where? Is she episode 5, 6? She's yeah, and that's. You know, it was funny because remember how she had said initially she didn't know how to feel.
She wasn't too jazzed about it. I think she was at episode 2 wasn't too jazzed.
Yeah, and what I told her was I was like, you have to give yourself time. You have to give yourself several episodes and just go with it. Trust it. And we've told other people. I know we've told other people this too. Like,
Trust.
Yeah, I know. I know how it ends, so I don't have to watch it.
He's on episode 2 too, which is where he was like, "I'm not that interested to it." I thought it was from the jump, from the get go. I thought it was cool from like where you're into it. And spoiler for anyone that hasn't seen it, it's been out for a minute, but the Kim or Travis, if you're listening. We actually both seen this. Whatever. The where he gets in trouble with the law, shoots the guy, and then it's like from there he's like, I'm on the run. I got to get going. And then I liked it from there, and I was like, I was kind of into it. And then especially where episode 3, where he gets on planet and they start like planning the heist, and the heist starts going down, and then like up to the mid-season finale. Yeah. I mean, it feels like that's the finale of the show. Like it really feels like this is what we're going to. And then they just have more to go, and it doesn't disappoint. Even the second half. Have you seen the full season?
Oh yeah.
like the prison as well. Like
Yeah.
the whole prison arc is just it's good. It's good again. It's great again, and it ends strong.
It's
I'm really excited for season 2.
and to top it off, it's such a gorgeous show.
Yeah.
It is so beautiful. Like I feel like a lot of people when they watch these shows, they're busy doing the mathematics of the storyline, trying to piece A, B, C, and D together.
Yeah.
When I started Andor, I very much could have gone into Andor and been like, I saw Rogue One. I know what happens. I'm not going to watch it. I could have taken that mindset. But instead what I do is anytime that they put out a show, whether it's Ahsoka, Andor, Obi-Wan, right? You have a general idea of what the story is, right? And who the person is.
Yeah.
But I try to go in just with this blank slate and try to say absorb it like differently.
Yeah.
You know, we get this show Andor. Oh my God, this is like first scene right off the bat. First scene. I was like, this is beautiful. The scenes were just so nice.
The corporate planet looks very like neon, kind of like all that.
Yeah.
It's dark. It's gloomy. My favorite thing, and this is like where his mom stays and where like he ends up coming back to and where he's trying to escape in the second episode. That I really forget what it's called, but the place with like the big bell tower and everything like that.
Yep.
I think not only is that like great costuming, everything looks Star Wars. Everyone you can poke it in a crowd looks good Star Wars. I like the town. I'm glad we didn't go to Tatooine. We go to Tatooine every fucking...
Far too much. Far too often.
Tatooine's my favorite planet.
Yeah.
Love the dual suns, freaking Tusken Raiders. I really love those things. But I'll be the first one to say it. We've been to Tatooine.
Yeah.
We've been there. And I really like the new town, the world building where like everyone is cremated into a brick and they're in the walls, and it's like the people who lived in this city, died in this city, are this city. Like the world building, it's great. I loved it. And I think just the town of like, you know what I mean? It's got this and that. It's they're like getting a little bit more rebellious because everything's clamping down on them, and that's what makes them rebel and stuff like that. I loved it. It was very good.
Totally agree. It hasn't disappointed. If you've not seen Andor, any of our listeners, if you've not seen Andor, give it a shot. Just
Even with all the spoilers you just got,
Yeah, I'm telling you, man.
it's still a great show.
yeah. Spoilers. And that's the funny thing too. Spoilers don't ruin a thing for me. I understand it does for some.
You have that weird thing with spoilers where you wouldn't mind if you could tell you the whole plot and you'll still watch it and stuff like that.
Yeah, because
I'll still watch it, but I'd prefer not to know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't get rid of the meat and the substance of the story that you're gonna experience.
Yeah, I guess.
So like, you could tell me, hey, in the end, the bad guy gets killed, and it's it's like, oh, okay. So yeah, I know the bad guy's fate, but the story they're gonna tell about this guy, the story they're gonna tell about your hero and so on. Like spoilers, they just don't affect me like that. I go into these things very fresh, very renewed, and expecting the unexpected, and I'm never disappointed. Especially, I will say, with Andor, just absolutely all about it. It was so good, so good. So if you haven't seen it, watch it.
One thing as well is that I do love to see this too is that when Andor was really taking off and Disney actually went to the director. I don't even think the director said he's that big of a Star Wars fan. But
It's okay.
But that's what I mean. It's a good show, and that's I give it the same praises I give Daredevil. Is that even if you don't like Star Wars, and same with Daredevil, if you don't like Marvel, you don't like the characters, it's a good show. You can sit down and say it's a good show. And when I think Disney came to him and they said we want to do 5 seasons, I think he looked at them and he's like, the story I want to tell takes 2 or 3. I'm not doing 5.
Yeah.
He wasn't going to stretch it out for this. He's like, I've got a story to tell with these characters. They've got the side characters like Mon Mothra. They've got the fucking guy that I can't remember his name. Skarsgård plays him. And they even have Saw Gerrera in there too. Just babbled in with Skarsgård. It's not Skarsgård. Why am I fucking up his name? I can't remember his name. But
It's okay.
the yeah. And I feel like he's sat there and he said, "I got a story to tell. I'm not gonna dilly dally. I'm not gonna give endless filler episodes. We're gonna do what we're gonna do." It's just good. It's such yeah. I can't recommend it enough.
Do you think it's good to have somebody direct or get put in charge of a show who's not like the biggest fan of that world or that realm? So like we have here, right? We have somebody who's not the biggest fan of Star Wars, but they're putting out such an incredible thing. I feel like if you have a fan take charge of a show, you're going to get it's going to be much, I feel like, because they're going to want to focus on like very minute details.
Yeah.
Versus like when you have somebody who's not as big of a fan, they're like, yo, I'm going to make this a story that you will never forget. I genuinely think.
I don't. I don't know this for a fact, but I wonder if a director who's not a big Star Wars fan just tries to make it a good show versus a good Star Wars show. I don't know if that's a difference that they have, but I will say this. I mean, people who are passionate about Star Wars, I think, do bring something to Star Wars.
Right.
Like, they had the armor of, like, I believe, Starkiller or one of the Starkiller armors in the background shots. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's people who work, especially in ILM. I feel like there's people who still work in ILM who are, like, you know, love Star Wars.
Right.
They're in ILM because ILM made Star Wars, and they're still working on Star Wars properties. And it's like Rogue One. Rogue One was originally written by someone who worked at ILM, who was big into Star Wars, and then they pitched it to Disney, and then Disney said sure, and they put a director on it, they bought the script or whatever, and they went with it. But it was written, and the idea was harnessed by someone who loved Star Wars.
True.
So I think I think the passion for Star Wars definitely has a place in making Star Wars. I mean, you would want people who are passionate about the
for
project
sure.
you're making. But I think there's nothing wrong with having somebody who's just like, I'm here to make something good.
Right.
I'm not here to make something Star Wars. I'm here to make something good.
Yeah.
I think that there could be a difference between it. I wouldn't know the difference
Yeah.
personally, but
Yeah. I mean, it made me think when you brought that up that he wasn't even really the biggest Star Wars fan. And it's like, I wonder if that's what makes that so good, though, is the fact that it's like, hey, I'm not the biggest fan, but I'm going to tell this story, and I bet you guys are going to love it. And sure enough, I would say, too, and we can note this for the record, that I don't want to look, Rogue One is one of my most favorite Star Wars films. Wasn't sure what I
Really?
was going into. Yeah,
Really?
Rogue One is one of my favorites.
I tell you the reason I recommended it to Travis, and I think that's probably actually one of my favorites as well. I know it's between that or Episode 1. I know that's a weird take to have, but I know Episode 1's not everyone's favorite. But come on, it's Darth Maul, Qui-Gon Jinn. It's my favorite Jedi, my favorite Sith. I can't, But the reason I recommended it to Travis and it sparked Travis' interest is that fucking shot when all the X-Wings are leaving fucking the base and they fucking warp in, and it warps in, and it's like a tracking shot on the front of the X-Wing as they dive in for an attack run. And I'm like, I don't understand how you could not like this.
Yeah.
So I was definitely
Just everything about that film, the story, the characters. I tend to lean toward droids, and something about the droids of that movie in particular was just.
yeah. I mean, I'm trying to think. Rogue One. Who played the droid? It was dude, he was on Firefly. I am really bad with names.
So we're talking about K2, yeah?
Yeah, K2. Alan Tudyk. Thank you. Alan Tudyk.
Alan Tudyk.
Yeah, dude. Absolute legend.
Oh, Alan Tudyk. Yeah. I'm telling you though, K2, something about him, man. Just
Oh, he's hilarious.
yeah,
Yeah.
coolest fucking droid I've ever been introduced to. You know,
Yeah.
can't go wrong. But yeah, I mean,
I am forgetting. I'm really bad with names, but I'm forgetting the people that were in this movie. I did not even know Mads Mikkelsen was in it. Of course, they got Donnie Yen. The fuck is,
I'm gonna rewatch. I'm gonna rewatch it now because I'm just like, man, it's been a minute, and I really do love that movie. Such a good movie. Holy cow.
Really is, yeah.
Yeah. So listen, if you're one of those people that watched Rogue One and you're saying, I don't need to watch Andor, I know how the story ends. I'd call you a terrible, terrible person, but last time I got lectured.
Wait, what'd you say? Wait, what? Run it back? What?
I said anybody who watched Rogue One and hasn't seen Andor and is saying, I know how the story ends.
Oh, you're just shooting shots at Travis. Yeah.
I would call them a horrible, horrible person. But like last episode, I was told that's a no for me. So
let's not be
I can't call you a horrible, horrible person. But what I can say
Give it a shot.
to all Travises of the world who think of that headspace, just give it the shot, man. It's such a good show. And granted, Kim has taken quite a while to watch it.
Nate just pleading to Travis over the pod. Just singling out Travis. Please, God, watch it.
I mean, like, and here's the thing. With Kim even, she's taken quite a while because at first, when she was trying to watch Andor, she couldn't focus. She's got a lot going on.
Yeah.
And so she couldn't focus, and she's like, it's just not connecting with me. And I was like, you've got to give it another shot. And trust me, like, when you watch it again, give it a few episodes, and I promise it's going to grab you. It's going to be one of those moments where it just reaches out and it takes hold of you. And she did. And she made it in, and I'm proud of her for making it as far as she has so far. And hopefully, come our next episode, she will have like drilled through it. You know, I think she'll get there, and yeah, I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to hearing her thoughts on it. I know I haven't really talked about it with her. I'm waiting for the end. I want to know what the whole spectrum goes through.
I will say too, since we're talking the Star Wars realm, I think I initially went to you about it real quick to ask if you had heard about it, but looks like a Mando movie was announced, or there's murmurs of a Mando movie, and that's supposed to close out the Mandalorian series. I don't have all the details in front of me that I had then. It was it was like just a very sudden thing. I was perusing the internet and that happened to pop up. There was a lot of chatter about it. Plan on moving forward through this podcast as more details show up.
Yeah, I pulled something
we
up
cover it
here from StarWars.com.
Solid.
Mandalorian and Grogu goes into production 2024. Says it's even going to go to the movie theaters. So
that's pretty epic.
A movie release of it, you know? I know they've been talking about how they're like trying to lead everything up to bring all these stories together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see. We'll see where it goes.
Yeah. I'm sad to hear that like it might be winding down for sure.
I think it's needed though.
Yeah. There's a point where it's going to be overdone. So if they don't take the action now, you know, we end up getting sick and tired of Mandalorian. We get sick and tired of that show, and it ends ugly. And I hope that they just wrap it up really nice I'm genuinely looking forward to it. Though.
I don't think we're gonna see the last of Grogu. I feel like it's the fact that he's gonna grow older. I feel like they're gonna cash in on that. I don't think we need Mandalorian season 15.
No, I don't think we need that.
I know they talked about maybe doing an idea where like the Mandalorian doesn't have to be the Mandalorian we know. It can follow different Mandalorian stories.
Oh yeah,
Which would be an interesting thing to see.
that would be.
But I mean, Star Wars is a huge universe that they have so many stories they can tell on so many different fronts. If we get like, I don't want to corner into the Mandoverse, you know?
Yeah, I feel like too. What Book of Boba Fett was was like a season of the Mandalorian. Like
It didn't really feel like they really gave Boba his own thing. It was Mandalorian season 2.5, right?
Yeah, with like a hint of, Boba Fett, and that was just something else. But I'm genuinely excited to hear that we're gonna get something like that. It does have me pretty amped to see if it is in a theater. Maybe the whole fam goes. Who knows?
Yeah, it's definitely something to look out for. I know they're doing other things like The Acolyte.
Yes.
Heard about that
Yep.
coming in 2024. So I want to see more stuff like that. I
Yes,
told there's a joke that I keep telling to my older brother. It's not really a joke. I'd actually like to see it. I said, you can make anything in Star Wars. You could make anything and just drop it in the Star Wars universe. Yeah. I want to see Fast and Furious in the Star Wars universe. I want them to unapologetically hire Vin Diesel and have him painted like an alien, give him whatever, make him be a Twi'lek or something like that, and have him just sit there talking about family. And it's all pod racing. You know what I mean?
God.
They're going to different
Can you
planets,
imagine?
pod racing, and he's just talking about how it's like, no, it doesn't matter if it's a parsec or half a part. I live my life one parsec at a time. It's about family. I'd fucking love it, dude. I'd watch it. Even if it was bad, I'd watch it.
Just for the nostalgia of Fast and Furious.
Yeah, Fast and Furious is done.
They better, and if they're getting Vin Diesel, they better have Ludacris up in there too.
Of course, he's not doing Fast and Furious. He needs work.
Yeah, that's right.
Get that man a Star Wars contract.
Yeah, he is Fast and Furious. So if you're gonna do something in the Star Wars realm, that's Fast and Furious, you better get Ludacris. And then of course you need him to drop a couple bars on the soundtrack to like some spacey. Yeah, come on, man.
Could you imagine Ludacris comes out just rapping in Huttese?
Oh my god.
Would go fucking crazy.
Woo! I'd love it. Dang, I'm with it.
Exactly, right? Yeah. The more you hear the fucking idea, the more it's like, no, we got something here. We got something.
That thing's that single will go diamond in a matter of minutes.
Triple platinum.
I'm telling you.
By the minimum.
It's not even going to last. Like, it's not going to take the span of time for that thing to become, like, massive, successful hit. It will be like a minute.
Dude, it's got
thing.
It's got a spot on my playlist waiting for it. You know what I mean? It's there
I'm with you. It's going to go on my cruise playlist, and it'll go on Travis's chill playlist.
Yeah. It's so good. Even Travis got the Ludacris Star Wars song on there. Dude, it goes crazy. You gotta love it.
He's gonna come into work one day. He's gonna be like, "Yo, guys, you hear that new Ludacris Star Wars thing, man? Shit slaps. So good, so good.
Damn.
And that's what we're gonna get.
That's tough, dude. It's tough.
And it plays countless times in the office.
Oh my God! Please, God,
glorious.
please.
Jeez. So since we're out in outer space.
Speaking of aliens,
I was perusing. Sometime back, I was perusing TikTok, and I've been dying to bring this to the pod for you to talk about. And it was not a sponsored TikTok at all. So, and this is why I'm bringing this up. Somebody's like, if you love Signs, you're going to love this movie. And then they're giving you this rundown of this show where there's no script, and it's on Hulu. And it's...
There is one line.
Okay, right?
Well, there's multiple lines.
We got to break this.
There's like 5 lines, maybe.
We got to break this down because I'm like, okay, they just compared this to Signs.
Which, by the way, I was talking in the office to Ben about this. Shout out to Ben. And and I was like, and I said, Yeah, Nate saw a TikTok, I think, and they compared it to Signs. And he looked at me and he said, "The way you said that was kind of weird." And I was like, "It's just that Signs is a cult classic." And to throw that recommendation around. And at that point, I would only watch the first hour. I hadn't finished it in the 30 minutes, and I finished the 30 minutes this morning, so I could get it fresh in the old mind. But yeah, not like Signs at all. I have only seen half of Signs, which I know is a little criminal.
Listen, that's okay though. If you, yeah, just I'm telling you.
But don't you not see like the aliens and Signs for a while?
You
like,
don't
they really
see them
draw
until
it out?
almost the end.
Yeah.
You like the first time you see the alien, any bit of the alien is its foot. This scene lives in my
I remember
brain
you
stem.
saying
Yeah,
this, the hand
the
or-
foot just like boom down by the bottom of the door, like where that hits anybody in the feels of like the scaries, right? Yeah. Because you remember being a kid and being afraid of like that little crack under the door when it's closed because something might like try to like get your feet, or like you have that fear of like under your bed that something's gonna touch your feet. Yeah. Well, they
They capitalized on it.
Yeah, M. Night Shyamalan was like, no, we're gonna get him. We're gonna get him like with the creepy creeps, you know, and Signs, just like perfectly executed it. In fact, I didn't. The funny thing is I didn't see Signs in the theater. My grandmother would always have amassed this like large DVD collection.
Yeah, the DVD wall.
Yeah, and it was so popular with her grandkids that Grandma used to have a notepad, and like Blockbuster Video, you'd have to sign out the videos you took. But the thing was, my grandmother would sneak me movies, so she'd be like, "You don't need to write it down." And what she'd do is she'd take the stack and she goes, "Here." She's like, "You can keep them."
Did you get signs?
Yeah, I got signs.
Hey!
And I was like, "Why? Do you not like these?" She goes, "No, I just know you'll love them, and I want you to have them." So, yeah, it was super awesome. And so Grandma gives me signs, and I pop it in. I'm like, "Let's give this a shot," and I was pleasantly surprised because I didn't think that this realm of sci-fi was going to be that good. I'm always used to sci-fi movies being very like tacky.
They've got a habit for being cheesy.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Especially early sci-fi too, I feel like.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
Some of it's very serious,
Yes.
and some of it's very good. Like there is some classics, don't get me wrong.
I think and sci-fi, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be space-based, but sci-fi should prey on fear of the unknown.
Yeah.
Right? Fear of the unknown. We don't know what aliens are going to be like when they come here. They could look like you and me, and there's like some coexistence that happens. Or an alien could be an amoeba that fucking kills everybody. But truthfully, you could have so much fun in the realm of sci-fi, and I feel like Signs did the right thing. Now, to compare this movie, which is called No One Will Save You, to Signs,
I feel like it's completely different on the basis of the fact that was why I brought up the fact like don't you not see aliens for a long time in Signs? Is like I'm pretty sure the first time they visit the house, which is in like the first 20 minutes of this fucking movie, she's getting chased by aliens.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you don't want to hear spoilers, we're gonna talk about it. So I'm not even gonna say like spoilers ahead. Obviously, spoilers ahead. But she's chased like the whole movie by aliens, different types of aliens, this alien or whatever. You know what I mean? It's definitely, it feels different. It feels very different than what you have described Signs and the parts that I've seen of Signs. It's very different.
I tell you right now. So I started watching the movie. As soon as that recommendation was given, I was like, I am going to watch this movie.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do a review on TikTok, which I did. I actually posted a review. And have I showed you this?
Your review?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Is it on Pod of Nerds?
No, it's on my TikTok, but I think what I'll do is I'll put it on there. But I'm gonna play it for you too. Yeah.
Yeah. Stitch it or whatever the fuck it is.
I'm gonna play it for you though, because I want you to see that review and watch, because these were my raw feelings. Not to mention Threads was a new platform, and I was like, that's it. I'm going to live thread my thoughts and opinions on this movie.
I was thinking about live texting you when I was watching it. I was live texting.
I would have been all for it. I went on Threads and I literally dumped as I watched it. I had so much to say about it because I feel like
negative or positive.
I was neutral to start, and then it grew increasingly negative. Because it's funny, Kim.
It's very interesting because I'm not going to go into my review, but it was very mid throughout the whole section, but I did go positive towards the end.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, this is gonna be crazy because Kim sits down next to me in the bedroom, and she goes, "What are you watching?" I was like, it's this movie that I keep getting like mobbed with TikToks about, and they're recommending No One Will Save You, and there's constant comparisons to Signs, and I'm like, I love that movie. This movie has to be good. No, it was not for me. It was not a pleasant experience. In fact, the entire time, I feel like I was just growing increasingly agitated with the movie.
Because do you think the fact that like someone said it was like Signs like really fucked it for you?
Okay, so here's the thing. I was not looking for a similar story to be told to Signs. What I was looking for was how were they going to... Because I knew that it involved aliens. They mentioned it involved aliens. That was... I was there. I was like, but how are we going to present the aliens? Because in Mars Attacks, we presented aliens as big brains with faces.
Yeah. I feel like we had very stereotypical in it.
Yeah, it was that
the gray man.
Yes,
bulbous
big
head,
eyes.
bulbous eyes. I do like they kind of did like a starry galaxy look in the eyes.
Yeah.
They speak in chirps, which is a little different than what we have. So it's very alien. Like they don't even really have like a language that is like.
Yeah.
It's like bird calls or some shit like that. And they had like the bow-legged. They're kind of like different. I will say that is what gave it a little bit of a plus for me is that. Very obviously look like CGI creatures.
Oh, yeah.
But they blend really well. Yes. And then another thing I liked as well is the set of the town and everything, and like her house when it's blown out and when it's destroyed and when it's put together. It all feels very lived in. You know what I mean? The set design felt good.
Yeah, I think that they did a very good job with the scenery, the settings. I do believe that it had a very like nice, unique feeling to it as far as settings, but storyline, especially if you're going to be so bold as to go, we're not going to have any like.
There's not really any talking.
Yeah. That's bold. And if you're going to do that, man, you got to do it right and you got to execute it right. And again, you need to lean in on fear of the unknown, so you've got these aliens. And granted, they're known because you see them, but like, what's up? I think I'm gonna give a spoiler, and I'm gonna apologize, but
it's spoiler. The whole review, yeah.
Yeah.
Shoot spoiler.
Does she not like? She kills one of the aliens initially in the house, right? She like
quote unquote kills. Yeah.
Yeah, leaves its carcass, runs out of the house, and lets it decay. Right. I thought that was good. I was like, okay, this is going to be interesting. What's going to happen? Because we keep focusing on that alien. I was like, what's going to happen? I don't know, man. It was not captivating. Like, they had me in their grips. We had a dead alien. Like, what was going to happen? Was some sort of, like, disease going to spread? Or was the alien going to, revive itself from its dead body? Could they, there's so many avenues you could have taken with it. You had me in your grips with that thing.
Well,
and then you lost me.
Kind of turned it where the fact like the alien was just kind of like a thing for whatever's inside of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The little neck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like they kind of twisted it there, which I mean was okay, I guess. Yeah. Because then it's like they're invading and they're like, you don't know who's an alien in town or something like that.
Yeah. It just, the movie completely lost me. Kim, I tried my best to not say anything to Kim because I wanted her genuine thoughts on the movie.
You don't want to influence it, yeah.
And she was not happy with it. She's like, I wasted my time watching this movie. And my response was, I did not waste my time watching this movie. I watched this movie. I gave it a fair chance. Several people on TikTok that showed up in my feed recommended it. I watched it. They hyped it up. It did not meet hype. And so then I made a review on TikTok about it in conjunction with my live threads because I wanted to give my honest feedback about it.
Yeah. I'll say this much, and I can give you my full thing right now, is that I wasn't given the hype of the TikTok. I was given the low ball by you saying,
Yeah.
it's definitely a film. They compared it to Signs. I haven't seen Signs. I know it's a cult classic, I'd say, for alien horror. And I know it's one of your favorite movies I've watched.
It's one of my tops, yeah.
Yeah. So
For sci-fi, it's one of my tops.
yeah. So I went to go into this movie with that, and it was I was like, well, visuals are nice. The storyline I wasn't that crazy of. I get the fact that she walked out of the police station because like of the traumatic thing that happened, but it's like, I mean, holy shit, it's right there. Please just go talk to the front desk and like just tell them, dude, I need someone to come out to my house, please.
Yeah.
I feel like we avoided like the casual like, what are you talking about, lady? Blah blah blah. It's aliens aren't real type beat, but the you could you know what I mean. I get it. I get why it went there because it has to like prolong the movie. And the storyline didn't do with me. I wasn't a big fan of the ending. I get the ending. In the end, she basically gets the alien thing caught into her, and they start to assimilate her or whatnot. But then she snaps herself out of the daydream and pulls it out of her throat. And then they beam her up to the spaceship. Spaceship interior looks very cool. It definitely goes with like their eyes are like the galactic stars type thing. Like it's a very nice set. Like, well, it's not set. It's definitely CGI. I feel like, but it's very nice. It looks nice, and they let her be basically because I feel like the whole idea is like she's alienated from society because everyone dislikes her because big spoiler alert. We notice that in one of the flashbacks that happens while she's on the ship that they probe her mind and they see that she killed her best friend when she was young in an argument, like when she was like really, really young, and she grabbed a rock and hit her, and she killed her by accident when she was very young. So the whole town kind of ostracizes her. And it ends with all the alien abducted people being like happy hunky-dory with her, and she's just living her life, she smiles and waves, and people finally wave back to her and stuff like that. But, I get the idea, like, oh, she was alienated, now she lives with aliens, and it's just kind of that little goofy moment. I wasn't that crazy on it, though.
Yeah.
But I will say visuals.
Yeah, visuals were good.
The use of lighting in the last 30 minutes alone, I laughed to myself, because I was like, I can't believe it's the lighting that's doing it for me. Yeah. They do a really good with, like, red. They do a good, like, red lighting when it's, like... she strikes her friend with a rock, the red lighting takes over, which you also see it like when she walks out the door in the dream state when it's like the red and blues, and then it's the police lights, but it's very like it's flooding the scene kind of in a way, and the way they do lighting for everything and like the alien abduction, like CGI and everything they had and all the aliens, I gotta say, it's good. The visuals I like a lot. And that's what I feel like saved it. The last 30 minutes really felt nice because it was, as much as I wasn't that crazy for the storyline, I'm not going to say I hated it, but I'll say it's a feast for the eyes.
Yeah, storyline just felt like it had a lot of holes in it. Yeah. And I feel like it could have been a lot better. Yeah. I wouldn't necessarily call it a waste of my time because
I wouldn't.
I want to give anybody's art an opportunity with me.
Yeah.
And especially in the realm of sci-fi. I mean, sci-fi, horror.
Good sci-fi is.
Yeah, man. It's original thoughts that are put that make some of the most classic horror and sci-fi movies so good. So why wouldn't I give somebody a chance? Unfortunately, people going out there and comparing it to Signs put it to a mark that it missed. And for me, that's where I feel like the movie just didn't hit with me, because I was going in like, this is going to be a movie like Signs. I can't wait to see how they go.
I think if you go into this movie not thinking it's going to be Signs,
Yeah, you'll get
you'd be like, you know what? It's an hour and a half. I liked it.
totally different experience if you go in not thinking that.
It looked nice. The storyline, I get it. It is what it is, but yeah, I think going in and not thinking it's going to be like Signs is a huge buff to this movie.
I mean, yeah.
Because it's just unfair. It's just not the same movie. I guess the person did say if you like Signs, you'll like it, but yeah.
They should have said if you like sci-fi, you'd like this. Because then it wouldn't have put it in this positioning that it was for me, you know? In this case, when I was watching it, you know, here I am saying, wow, no one's going to save me from watching this. But, you know, hey, look, everyone, the pod's here to save you. So that's, you know,
it's definitely worth a watch.
It is.
I don't think I'd ever go back and rewatch it.
For sure.
I wouldn't search it out and try and be like, oh, I got to really watch this movie again. But I'll sit there and say, for an hour and 30 minutes, it's a good movie. I liked it.
What I would love to do, too, is for anybody that listens to the pod, if you check this movie, it's on Hulu. It's called No One Will Save You. If you check the movie out, if you watch it, send us what you think. You have a number of different ways you can get to us. Social media. You can email us, podofnerds@gmail.com. We're at Pod of Nerds on almost every social media network that we're possibly on. You can also find all that information, too, if you go to podofnerds.com. Reach out to us, though. Let us know. And
especially
if you're
on TikTok, when we're gonna stitch your review in as well, and then just throw your review, put your things on that as well. I think even in Spotify, when you listen to the podcast, you can
there's
add
a little
comments,
section, so
and we can view those. So if you guys seen it and you guys have an opinion on it, let us know.
Yeah, and we'd love to circle back. Any of these conversations, it'd be nice to circle back on them and really have like a conversation with it, you know. And I mean,
also, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
If you got a recommendation for like any sci-fi,
oh man,
any good sci-fi movies or shows, even horror, let us know. Because I feel like I definitely want to do a sci-fi episode.
Yeah, actually,
jump into some.
So something I think we should share with everybody too is, I know you get a lot of gaming fix out of the pod right now, and that's mainly because we are gamers, right?
Me looking at the second half of the script for this pod, just like
I mean, we play video games. We play video games together. The people that you are commonly hearing on here are part of our squad, but I have plenty of friends and acquaintances that love sci-fi, that love horror, and we do have some cool episodes coming up with regard to horror. I will say that. I know a couple of people that are big horror buffs, and I think it would be very cool to have them on. In fact, I just saw a fan film. A fan film was created in the universe of Halloween. The Michael Myers.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, so this was all kind of like a accidental series of events. I got a message from Kim. She shoots me this message on Facebook Messenger, and she goes, "You might want to check this out." So she sends me. I see like a little clip of Michael Myers there. I'm like, oh, God, what is this? And it turns out that it is a movie called The Last Nightmare. And the feel of it is very Halloweenish. And it's got me intrigued for sure. So I would love to have some friends come through on the pod and talk about horror movies, and the spooky stuff. And it would be very cool, too, to have sci-fi discussions as well. So I feel like you're going to get more of this because I love horror movies. I grew up watching them with a lot of my friends. We'd have bands that we put together, and band rehearsal, we would be sitting in my friend's basement watching. We watch like a couple of scary movies. Then we'd be like, all right, want to write some songs? Then we go write some songs, and then we take a break. We'd be like, hey, dude, check out what I can do. We'd go over to the piano and play the Halloween theme, and then get back to work again. So yeah, it's something that I know you're going to for sure all be receiving for us. It's all in timing. But yeah, if there are sci-fi, horror, you name it, if there's something you want to hear us talk about, please don't hesitate to shoot your suggestion our way. We will give it a fair shot, and we'll talk about it because
I'm always looking for some more stuff to watch, especially horror.
Oh,
I know I usually kind of wait towards the Halloween time, but I do like
every now and then it's
throughout the year. I like to gather a selection of the horror movies, and then right when October starts, or a little bit before October, start going through them. Every once in a while, knock down like a couple of weeks.
Something I'm notorious for doing, Kim can vouch for me, is every fall season, I do a movie watch list of spooky movies, and it changes. Some movies stick around for a little bit, but it's a fair rotation of movies.
Good classics.
Yeah, and it is one of those things that I just love to do. In fact, I want to say one of the movies, and I know it gets a lot of shit for, is Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. And Michael Myers is not present in that story whatsoever.
Really?
Yeah. So check it out.
I've never actually watched Michael Myers through. Because when I was trying to look for it last Halloween to go through it, they just had the new one.
There's 2 sets of new ones. There's Rob Zombie Presents, and then there's...
Yeah, I think it was just whatever the one was not Rob Zombie. I don't think Rob Zombie was near the one I was. But it was
like Halloween Ends or something like that.
Something like that, yeah. I was just... Yeah, but I couldn't find the original one. I know Jason's were kind of hard to find. I couldn't find the original Jason. Couldn't even find Jason X.
So, I think it's Amazon. There's like a bundle. You can buy like the stack of the movies, and they give you the digital codes too, so you'll have digital and DVD. But it's only DVD. There's no Blu-ray on it.
Yeah.
And the same would go for Halloween when you're looking for John Carpenter's Halloween. But the thing is, some of these sets had cut out Halloween 3. I think that's very unfair because the storyline does not revolve around Michael Myers, but in the movie, they're in a, I can't remember if it's a bar or a hotel or something, and on the TV screen is the trailer for one of the Halloween movies, and they have Michael Myers blasting through it. So I have my own theories. I'm gonna save it for more of like a Halloween-y episode.
Yeah.
I do have a theory on how the third movie does wrap into the storyline of Halloween.
But it's just a theory.
It's just a theory.
A film theory.
But I feel like I would like to have you do some of the watching at my recommendation.
Oh, yeah.
And be ready for that conversation because I feel like a lot of people might share in the sentiment once I lay out what my thought is of how that ties in. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely down to watch it. I'm always good to watch a good spooky film. Especially Halloween. I got to watch such an iconic series. Jason as well. Yep. I don't think I've seen Jeepers Creepers as well. I've seen a part of it one time on TV, but I know there's multiple, and they go through it, so.
And, I know we're still looming on the sci-fi vibe of things. I have to throw this out there. Sci-fi done right. This is even a lie. I wasn't perusing anything. Wow, I just went to lie to everybody. I apologize.
Fucking Christ.
Shame on me.
Pulling a
So
Travis.
listen, Kim and I went to do our taxes, and our tax professional was not able to be there, but her husband happened to be our tax professional this year. First of all, she's super cool. He's cool as fuck too. It's a twofer. The dude starts flinging off show recommendations at us.
Rapid
It's
fire.
like he knew. It was crazy. It's like he knew what we were into. It just the vibe meshed. And he goes to us. There's a few Apple TV. Do you have Apple TV? And I was like,
I know.
it's and that's okay. He's like, do you have Apple TV? I was like, of course, yeah. You know, I was like, there's.
I've heard nothing but good things about it.
We were watching, yeah, because like we watched Ted Lasso, and you know,
I had it for Ted Lasso, but then I would wait for the whole season to come in, get it, cancel it.
oh, dude, I
There's
gotta
a lot
tell
of
you,
stuff on there, but I already pay for Disney Plus and HBO Max, and I'm not even watching the things that I want to watch on there. You know,
he threw 3 recommendations at us. One was, okay, so he first starts talking about Masters of the Air, which World War II based. If you watched Band of Brothers, it's made by the same guys, and it follows like a air infantry during World War II. So there was that he threw at us, and I was like, okay, that's something I'm going to be into. I'm going to have to watch. He also hit me with Monarch, which is like the prequel to Godzilla.
okay, yeah, I've heard I've heard about that.
So he's like, Monarch, we got this. I was like, dude, this guy, it's like this guy knows me and we've never met. Then he tells me about a show on there called For All Mankind.
I was gonna ask about that one. Is that the one you're gonna talk about?
Nope. So this is,
I've watched the first few episodes of this.
okay.
I watched this when we had like Ted Lasso on and stuff like that, or when we had it for Ted Lasso.
Let me know. But my understanding of the premise of For All Mankind is during the space race, this story is what would have happened if the Russians made it to the moon first.
I don't know if it's what they made it to the moon first. I don't remember that part, but I remember both of them made it to the moon. But it's like they're on the moon militarized.
Yeah.
Like I know they had guns, and they were shooting like space M16s or whatever the Americans were, and like they had Marines. They were trained in space for like quick operation, and it was like the Cold War's still going, so it's like it was still touch and go with everything like that. So
Okay. So that is actually next on my list of things to watch.
I know how it is. I've heard nothing but great things about it. I think there are 2 seasons out. I don't know if there's more, but I remember hearing good things about the first one, and I heard good things about the second too.
Dude, he hits me with this one, which is called Invasion. And I had been aware of Invasion, and I was like, yeah, I've been meaning to watch it. I haven't gotten around to watching it. He looks me dead in the eye and goes, watch it. No sooner do I start watching Invasion, I'm freaking hooked. I'm locked in on that. Dude, I'm telling you right now, I spent the vast majority of an entire weekend watching 2 seasons
You
of
went
Invasion.
through all of it.
Yes. I believe.
Dude binged it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think
All right, that is-
season 2 came out like this year, like this past year, and I already want season 3, and that's probably not coming out till there's no official renewal on it. It's probably not coming out till 2025 from things I read.
They got to put production on it and shit.
Yeah, I promise you this: if you want a movie, not a movie, I'm sorry. If you want a show, something sci-fi that is going to grab you the second you start it, this is sci-fi done right.
Really?
Yes.
All right.
Aliens, all that. I'm not going to compare it to Signs. Okay. Here's what I'm going to tell you.
Bro move.
Here's what I think this movie is, though. Yeah. It shoots off vibes, sort of Walking Dead vibes.
Okay.
It definitely has like it has that, you get the alien thing, and a number of other like you could just parallel it to a lot of really good shows, but where they got me, and this isn't going to necessarily be a spoiler, but the aliens in this movie, just, I can't applaud Apple enough on this, because the aliens are not what you would expect an alien to be.
Okay.
It is the craziest thing.
I want you to not really go into it now, because I want to see what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I will tell you. So you are going to get, and here's something that no sci-fi thing has delivered to me, which is evolution of the aliens too. You get an evolution of them, which is super wild.
Like how they evolved into the way they are now, kind of bit.
Oh, no. You see an alien entity when they first invade Earth. You see an alien entity. Come season 2, you're going to see they evolve. Okay. Into the next season, all of a sudden they evolve. And you start to recognize that the aliens are also not just the physical things that are down on Earth, but there's even more to these aliens than meets the eye. Yeah, I promise you it's sci-fi done right. It is so well done. Apple, they need to stick with it, because I am locked in there. There's also not just one main character. You follow groups of people.
Okay, so it's kind of like split up. We're like,
This is where I get the Walking Dead vibe, because you're following a group of kids. You're following a family in the United States. You're then following the only thing that turns into one person is you're following a military unit who's out in the Middle East. And eventually that will dwindle down to one main character of that group, but you still follow all the other groups throughout the storyline. I don't want to give any more detail, because I feel like that might hurt your experience watching it. Invasion, Apple TV, so good.
I think
Loved it.
When we talk about a sci-fi episode, I'll try and crush those 2 seasons. Yeah. Subscribe for like just a month or 2 or something. Try and get those seasons for it. But if we're talking about sci-fi recommendations, I recently started watching something sci-fi that I think I should recommend. I think it's on Amazon Prime. The Expanse. Have you ever watched it?
Oh, for a bit. I have not watched The Expanse, but I do know of it.
Yeah, so I watched it when it first came out, and I only watched a few episodes. I liked it, but I just never stuck with it, because I just kind of stopped just really going like DVR and everything and all that shit. And but I saw a bunch of people recommend it for Sci-Fi, and I was like, where is it? And I was like, Prime? Shit, why not? And I crushed season 1 in like 3 days. Great. I really like, it's very, I feel like, I don't want to say it's grounded sci-fi, but it really feels like grounded sci-fi. Like, I'll give 2 examples of like, they're running through to an escape ship, and they have mag boots, but artificial gravity's on where they are. Yeah. So they're like, we have to run through because there's going to be people shooting at us. Don't put on your mag boots, because it takes time for them to disengage and all that shit. Just sprint it. So they start sprinting across this railway platform, and they lose gravity. Big surprise. You know what I mean? It said, don't do fucking mag boots. Though one person gets their mag boots on, the other one starts floating away. What he does is like he kicks off from the ground with his mag boots, goes on, clips to the back of their spacesuit, kicks off of them to get onto the ground, mag boots the ground, and then pulls them down. Like doing like kind of like a physics puzzle in a way, like just trying to get, and pulls them down, gets their mag boots, unclips, and they start booking it. That, and then also they're getting in a ship, and they're about to get into combat. So what they have to do is they're in their ship, they all put on spacesuits inside the ship, and they have to vent air. Because if they get a hole through their ship and everything would vent, it would push their ship and it would become uncontrollable. So they're pre-planning for the fight. Like, all right, we got to vent the ship so that if we get punctured, it doesn't kick the ship off course. We have to keep it light and nimble while we're like doing it. So if we lose something, and I think just those little things of like, there's a lot of those things where they just spread it throughout the season where it's like, it's sci-fi if thought like, with some real world applications and stuff like that. I think it's really cool.
I'm going to tell you straight up. First of all, don't you love when a show does that to you?
Little things like that where like I wouldn't think about, but I'm like, that's kind of cool that they put that in, because that's like, it'd be something that you would do if.
I really hope you watch Invasion, because just based off of what you're telling me about The Expanse, I'm like, I think he's going to be into Invasion.
You should watch the first season of Advance. I'll watch Invasion. And then we'll come back for the Sci-Fi.
It's already on
episode
my
later down the
list,
line.
so I'm gonna.
Oh really?
Yeah. I'm on the prowl for other shows like this now. I am like on a huge sci-fi kick. I tell you right now that as soon as you brought it up, I was like adding to the list.
Yeah.
And it's on my watch list now.
And that's not even. I'm not even gonna get into the storyline.
Yeah.
But it's good.
Yeah.
It's really nice. It's I'm not even gonna give you the background for it.
All right.
I'll let you go on cold turkey. A lot.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, but they have like 5 seasons. I'm on the second season. I kind of stopped watching for a bit, but I'm gonna get back to it. I'll watch Invasion first though.
You know what's funny? So when I was looking at our review of what we were gonna kind of touch on for the pod, right? I saw your recommendation, and I go, "Here's where Jason X comes back."
No, I'm not gonna recommend Jason X, dude. Yeah, I start recommending Jason X like you've never fucking heard of it before, dude. I don't know if you've ever heard of this movie. It's called Jason. Like he's from this franchise called Friday the 13th. I don't know if you ever heard of it. No. Oh well, kind of goes to space.
I saw that earlier today when I was reviewing it. I go,
I just added it today too.
I was like, he's gonna hit me, and then you took like a brief pause before you did it here, and I was like, here he goes. I was waiting for you to go. So there's this movie, right, where this dude goes up into space. He's a serial killer, if you will, and I was like, we're gonna get Jason X bit is coming back.
2 words: laser machete. No, I'm not bringing.
That was great.
But if you think we get through the Sci-Fi show without talking about Jason X, you're fucking kidding yourself.
Yeah, come on, you gotta give a shout out to the guy. I mean, jeez Louise. So I know you have some stuff you wanted to touch on as far as like games you've been playing lately. I know you've been on the grind with.
I've really been expanding the gaming horizon.
Yeah.
Not all these are from me. I've got a few from me, but Payday 3. We're not talking about it. It's in a rough launch. I'm not gonna lie, it's a rough launch. It was like for like a month. I think they were waiting for an update. They had issues with like them putting out updates so that all systems could have it at the same time, I guess, or something like that. Or no, they couldn't update the game because there was like a thing where they might erase progress for certain players if they updated it. So they took like a full fucking month, and it was like literally unplayable for some people. I got into I bought the silver package, so I had like a couple days early play, and it was great. The gameplay is really fun. The heisting is super solid. I mean, a real step up from Payday 2. There's a lack of heists in the game. They've put older heists from Payday 2 into Payday 3, but updated them with a new system and stuff like that, so that's kind of nice, but they've only done 2. They've done 1 DLC pack. The DLC pack's very nice. The weapons are very meta. Like, they work really well in the systems. And everything they've been adding has been nice, but it's just been slow to get there. I mean, shit, the only update we've got now is that. But I will say the gameplay's fun. It's crossplay through all platforms, so that's very nice. It's on the Xbox Game Pass, so if you have Game Pass, I definitely recommend, even on PC or Xbox, just checking this game out, especially if you have that Game Pass for free. It's a really fun game, and it's good with friends. It really is a great time. They had a rough launch, but it's made by Overkill Software, and I've been a huge fan. I've played Payday the Heist. I bought Payday 2. I have a ton of DLC for Payday 2. I've bought a lot of it during sales and stuff like that. And I can say One thing is that overkill if they fuck up their game. One thing that they'll genuinely listen to players' concerns and fix it. It may take a bit, but we'll get there. I mean, they have one of the things that I think I wish I would see a lot more game companies take this, but their website has a section where you can submit a feature or something you want changed in the game, and then it's public and people vote on it. So like they can go to that list and be like, the most voted for thing that they want changed right now is this. And you know what I mean? As a player, you can go through and be like, yeah, I want that. I want that. I want that. I want that. That can wait. We'll keep that for later. But being able to show like what's the most popular thing that people really want, I think that's really cool. But the gameplay's nice. Gunplay's smooth. It just needs. I think they just need to work on their networking a little bit, because every once in a while I'll drop a game, which kind of sucks. So, but rough launch, good game. I'm really looking to where they go for it as well, because they have a whole story mode planned out for like the new heists, and I know they're implementing older heists, and I think February they said they're going to release a roadmap on like they have a roadmap of where the DLC's coming, but they have another roadmap for like what the technical fixes are they're putting into it. But it's a solid game.
So they're doing more than Bethesda when they had rough launches like Fallout 76.
They changed Fallout 76. It was just fucking years. I would not call it 76 though. Holy shit, I'm not gonna put Payday 3 to that.
Man, that was a mess. Oof.
It was a fucking oof. Yeah. I ain't gonna complain. I bought it for $5. I bought the game for $5 on disc, and then after they fixed it or whatever they did to it.
I just can't believe I got suckered into pre-ordering that, man. I was so angry, and they didn't.
I forgot you pre-ordered that.
Yeah,
that's
they
rough.
did bare minimum nothing for.
Yeah, I hate to say I pre-ordered Payday 3, and that's like the one game I don't pre-order shit. But the only reason I did pre-order it was like if it does rough launch, they'll fix it. It's down the road, but they'll fix it.
Yeah, I mean. Yeah, and lesson learned for me on as far as that, and now I try to be more attentive to, will a gaming studio,
really buckle down and fix their mistakes?
Yeah, will they own their shit?
I've like I said, I've yet to pre-order. I've got games that are coming up right now that I'm going to get into that I'm not pre-ordering for shit. I'm waiting until they come out, man. I really am. But I think the other one is Outward. I know I talked to you a little bit about this one, but it's like it's a nomadic game where like there's magic system in it. There's like there's a lot of weapons and stuff like that, and you get skills. You pay money to learn skills, and you get these breakthrough points where you can like go further in some skill trees, but you only get 3, so you really have to choose where they're at. It's really fun. You can play co-op. I've been playing with my older brother, and it's just you got a backpack on you, but like you're slow to move. So like to get into engagement, you got to drop your bag sometimes and like fight, and then like but you need to sleep, so you have a tent that you carry, and like you can put the tent down. It gives you certain buffs by the tent you got. You sleep. You gotta like you know what I mean. You got to keep warm. You got to keep yourself from getting too cold or whatnot. It's definitely a really fun game. It really feels like you're traveling around. The combat was really punishing in the beginning, but it's especially for me, I had a real hard learning curve for it. But it's when you take the fights and like you kill these big enemies that are hard to do, like you put traps down and shit like that if you need to like stop like you'll prep for a fight you think is big, but then you pull through it like and you're like, all right, we're getting better. You get like a new weapon and stuff like that. You really feel like you're going somewhere. The progression feels nice, and we really haven't even, because you join a faction and then you start the questing from there, and we've really just been like going around zones and like just testing things out, because like one thing that happens is like once you join the faction and stuff like that, they start giving you quests. Certain quests have time limiters. To get to different maps, you need travel rations for like food as travel, and it takes time for that. You have to sleep and manage your sleep system and your eating and all that, but that takes time. So like you have to repair your gear with like that. But if you're in a bad zone, you got to take watch. so that you don't have an ambush in the middle of the
Kind
night.
of like that.
Yeah, so like you're really managing like your time, your resource and stuff like that. Like you can find these like in little like butterfly areas that are like these are considered safe spaces. So if you camp there or if you camp in a town, you can put your tent up. No invasion risk or whatnot, you know what I mean? But yeah, but like you start getting these quests and it's like you have 30 days to complete this quest. You sleep at night, you're wasting those 8 hours or maybe 10 hours cuz you're really bad cuz your health goes down, and as your health goes down, you get burnt health. Okay. And you can get food that and drinks that like you get that so you can get your health back or stamina back or your mana back. Mm-hmm. But sometimes you got to sleep to get rid of it. And if you really nice thing is that if you die, you're not checkpointing to a different game. You die in the bandit camp, the bandits capture you. You're in prison, you got there's some where you like you have to like you can mine your way out of the prison and give them ore and eventually you buy your freedom, but like it takes a lot of time. You can try and break out of the prison, but you got to find your gear and get all your shit because it's somewhere else. Right. You get attacked in a cave sometimes by like these like troll like little like weird mud people or I forget what the fuck they are, troglodytes or something like that. Nice. But they take you to their lair, like deeper into their lair, whereas like you were having a hard time getting from the entrance to them. Now you're in the shit. Like you got to fight your way out of the place, and you've got lower health because you've been things, and eventually you can be saved randomly by this one guy who's like, "Hey, I found you in a bad spot. I saved you." He leaves you a note and a potion that you can drink. Yeah. Or if you get beaten up too much where you keep dying and you're losing health, you lose a couple days, and then you get dragged back to their village like, "Hey, I found you lying somewhere. I brought you back to the village for you to get help, but I've taken gold out of your thing. Like, you know, I need your money. Like, I've took payment for it." So you can lose your money, and like, or like, yeah, you'll lose, and like the bandits will take your stuff to a different area. So like, but you lose time as well. Yeah. So if you're questing and you keep dying, you're losing time on the quest by like getting that, and then you're low and you have to recuperate, so like, oh, you got to do that. So it's like you're like, you know what I mean, like dying has an effect and it means something in the game. It's a really cool concept, and it really sold me on the game.
Pretty much got me on that, because I was like, wow, this is some pretty cool ass shit.
I remember originally telling you about this game, and I was talking about like you could be at a campfire and like the campfire warms you and like time passes as you sleep. And I realized I really didn't sell the game. I was playing it for one day, but it wasn't until like the questing thing that I think really sells it and like the recovery. But I remember telling it to you and you looked at me like I was fucking crazy the first time I told you about this game. You're like, yeah, that's cool.
I mean, I dig the fact, just like even what you're saying, you know, like you have to keep watch because there's bandits coming. Like, that's pretty fucking cool. If you get captured, there's several different ways that you can escape. There's like consequence and all that.
And it's different for zones too.
I like that.
Yeah. That's
pretty neat.
It's very nice. I've really loved it. I didn't put this on the list, but I've also been playing with my older brother, the Divinity 2. Okay. It's Baldur's Gate 3. I think I mentioned it last episode, or maybe the episode beforehand, where it's like I've been playing that too, getting through it. That's a really nice. I've been really liking that game. It's really good. It's really solid. A very popular game right now, Lethal Company. Dude, Lethal Company is so wild. I know I haven't told you this story, but I know I've told Charles, and I think it made him buy Lethal Company. It's like. Have I told you? Have you heard anything about this game? The Kim cometh.
Not enough, but
yeah.
Oh, Kim has arrived. A wild Kim. You want to say hi to the podcast?
Hi, podcast.
We're just talking about games.
But yeah. Sorry. No, you're good. The what as I was saying, like Lethal Company is like there's multiple there's enemies that you get and you scan as you see, and the whole idea is you got to get scrap from inside these buildings, bring it to the ship. You have a date, you have a quota, so like in 3 days you got to make this much money. So you have to go to more dangerous places and more dangerous places. But like, and you come with enemies. So like, I'll give you an example. This is probably like the funniest story I have. Like, you can on the base, you can switch between cameras, and it will show the vitals of where players are, if they're moving or not, and what's happening. And you'll see enemies or loot around them. So me and Bob are in like the beginning area, and this thing what's called a coil head, which is basically just Weeping Angel from Doctor Who. Got to look at it. If you don't, moves so fast. And in this thing, you'll find that they spawn as like a wooden paneled room. They're called a bracken.
Yep.
They'll slowly sneak up on you, and you can notice them like on the monitor, them sneaking up on somebody, and they're very quiet. And you have to look at them. You have to turn around and find them. So your head, like you see the wooden room, your head's on a fucking swivel the whole time, and it's these like white eyes that pierce through the darkness because it's very dark in this game, and there's light only in certain places. And you have to look at it, and then like your game goes like everything, and it runs away. But if you look at it for too long, it gets fucking pissed at you and runs at you and breaks your neck. But if you don't look around for it, it slowly sneaks up on you and breaks your neck anyways.
Oh wow.
So I'm sitting there, and me and my older brother are walking around, and my cousin's up on the ship or whatever, and I'm looking at the coil head, and there's like this stairway that goes up, and I'm looking at it, and like if I look as the stairway, if I cross like a beam, it like jumps forward and goes, and you hear the boom, and my older brother starts walking down, and he walks out. He's like, I'm gonna go look for loot, just keep an eye on it. And he goes down and he loots down there, and he's just going for like loot and stuff like that. And all of a sudden, because it's VoIP in the game, and it's distance, like if he goes too far, I can't hear him anymore. But all of a sudden, he stops fucking talking, and I'm like, oh no, like he's not there. So I go down, and I'm still looking at the coil head, like keeping eyes on it, and I'm like got my back to the where he was, and I'm going to pick up his stuff and his loot and stuff like that. And my cousin sends in a thing that like very slowly, it's a signal thing, you could buy it, and it slowly goes over, and it says Bracken. And I'm like, oh shit. So I got my back exposed to where Bob just got his neck snapped. And I'm like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. And I'm like moving, and I get back to where I was, to where like the Bracken can't come up, because I would see him and he would run away, and the coil head's still fucking there. And I'm like, I'm sitting there, I hear the teleporter whirl on Bob's body, so he's getting his body back. I'm like, Billy, fucking me. And I'm like moving a little bit. Apparently he couldn't see it on the monitor. I was moving. He's like, so he teleports me back, and I was like, dude, why him and not me? And he was like, oh, you were still? I thought you were dead. And I was like, no, it was fucking awful in there. It was just being so alone, just like yelling, like, is anybody in here? Looking for my other cousin, like, whoa!
Somebody show your face for the love of God.
Please. But it's so funny to play that game is just so it's very fun with like a 4 group, because it's like the VoIP as well is so good, and there's so many mods out for it now.
Yeah.
They have a mod that's like a Skinwalker mod.
Ooh.
That records the voice of you and your friends, and it will say it down the hall. So if you be like, hey guys, you here? It could take that and play it on the other side, where like one of my cousins or brothers are, and they could be like hearing like, you guys there? And then like you like draws you towards it. There's so many cool things going on with that game.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's definitely
That's nuts.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. It's a fun game to play. It really is. It's only like $10, $13 too on PC.
Oh wow.
It's definitely
not bad.
No, it's definitely worth it.
Oh, wow.
Goes on sale too as well. So like I think it goes 30% off or some shit like that.
Add it to the list.
Yep. And then Hogwarts Legacy. I've just got into it. Yeah, I gotta say, like, it's I put it on hard mode. You know, I was like, let me try it, because I was gonna give it a go. Even on hard mode, it's not that challenging. The puzzles that are in it, like they have these little dungeon puzzles you do, and like you do obviously like puzzle mapping as like the main thing. It's not hard. It's a very relaxed game that you can just chill out, and like, you know what I mean. All of it's just I feel like if you're a big Harry Potter fan and you're like, oh, it'd be so cool to go. It is nice. It's like walking around Hogwarts and stuff like that. You can fast travel too if you want, and then you can fly around that. But it's nice. It's just a fun game so far. I haven't gotten that far in the story. I've just been exploring a lot in it.
Yeah.
But I've just been playing a little bit of that. And then another game I've been playing is Dark and Darker.
Yep.
I know I've talked about this game with you. Like it's an extraction dungeon crawler where like you're like all these you got like your knight, your wizard, your ranger, excuse me, your rogue, cleric. They added the bard. I've been playing the bard. My brother's been playing the knight, and we've been playing duos, and been actually going pretty good. So I've been a cleric for the most part. Dark and Darker though. Yeah, they've added some updates for it. They finally released the game. And it's nice. I like it. I know
Have you been going bardcore on it?
Bruh. Always bardcore. Yeah, you get to play. You play like certain songs with certain instruments, and like you can get like certain buffs, and you can do certain things like with your lute. You can fucking hit people with.
That's amazing.
It, and your drum, you can fucking throw it at people. So my brother died to a rogue, and this rogue had his buddy mining down further in the I guess it's like the ruins of a castle.
Yeah.
In the beginning, like the top floor, and he's fighting me, and his buddy's not stopping mining. He's coming at me thinking he's fine. I was testing out extra weapon damage, and I just got a better drum, so it's more damage, more weapon, and I had a second drum. So this rogue's coming at me, and like he's like, ooh, acting like I've got no range on me, and I take the fucking drum, and I fucking hit him. I pull my second drum out, and I fucking hit him twice with 2 drums. He fucking runs away. Me and my brother are laughing our ass off because he's spectating me, and I'm like, yeah, motherfucker didn't think I had the drums on me, did I? And he comes up with his boy the next time, and he got his buddy now, and he's coming at me. I pull up the drums again, and he's tiptoeing. He's like trying to dodge, and I'm like, yeah, he's scared of the fucking drum. Well, the drum did something.
That's incredible.
So it's been pretty fun. As for upcoming games, I haven't really been I didn't really play the first one. I know it actually goes on sale for $5 often, so I'm gonna pick it up one day, but I don't need to pick it up now. I'm fucking drowning in games I need to finish, honestly. So, Dragon's Dogma 2. I don't know if you've seen anything about this game.
I have not.
I'm gonna send you a trailer about some gameplay for the second one.
Yeah.
It's got a really interesting combat system where you can mount the enemies. Like you can climb up on the enemies and attack their legs and stuff like that. And if you hit their legs, they can fall down. And it's like you could try the environment. Like if there's a troll there, like you can take an explosive barrel, hit a dam, and it will blow water down and knock the troll down and wash them away. There's some really interesting classes too, like it's this weird like magic spear thing where like you can pull things to you, and like you throw a spear and it pulls it towards you, or some shit like that. Like they have like regular classes that are fighter, wizard, stuff like that, archer and ranger, but they have some really like subclasses that go really kind of like what the fuck. And I think you can change your vocation through the game. Like you go to a guild hall or something like that, I think they said, and you could change what you are. But I know it was very good, the first one, and they weren't able to really finish the way they wanted to because of I think the studio they were working for, they didn't have enough money for it. I think that was the thing, but it was a very popular game, very very well made. My brother played it, and he was telling me about Dragon's Dogma 2. Saw the trailer for it. Looks great. It's coming out in March, I think. It looks really sweet. Another upcoming game is Helldivers 2. I gotta send you the trailer for it. I gotta send you the trailer for this one because it's like Starship Troopers, like but you're like you're like ODSTs from Halo, where like your orbital drop shop troopers basically, but you go down and it's like some of my favorite quotes that I've been quoting to my I sent it to my older brother and he's like, yeah, we're fucking getting the game. And it comes out like February 8th, so it's real soon right now because it's the which one is it today, right? Yeah, it's the 28th of January now. February 8th is when it comes out. Some of my favorite quotes is from the trailer is like, with the gentle precision of an iron fist, calling themselves the last line of offense. But it's got this comedic like I'm doing my part Starship Troopers vibe to it. Yeah. But gameplay looks cool. It looks like you got guns and you like have artillery that you unlock, so you can call them like strafing runs on these, like you fight bugs, and now like there's this new robotic enemy. The first game was a top-down shooter, but this is like third-person gunplay up to 4 players, I think it is. But like you can pull in strafing runs, orbital bombardments. You can call down like turrets that mount themselves into the ground, and you can fucking shoot it off. And like It looks like there's some definitely cool stuff. They just released how the game's gonna work, and it's like you're a commander of your ship, and there's like community missions where like you've got to do missions over here. Like, it's a war front, and I don't know if it plays like it, but it looks like kind of Galactic Conquest where you go through these planets fighting, and like you got to join the community guidelines over here to help the community fucking secure this area, or you have your own personal orders that are just for you and stuff like that. So it looks really cool. I think it's gonna be pretty fun. I gotta text my little brother about it. I'm thinking about getting both my older and little brother in it because it's not only PC, it is PS5.
Oh shit!
And it is compatible crossplay from release, and it looks like a really clean game. Guess what? $40.
$40.
Not
Wow.
60. Not 60. $40. It looks clean.
That's a shocker.
It looks great. I'm not pre-ordering. I know Helldivers 1 it did very well, and it's got a very like heartfelt community, and people are saying the devs are great, and they're very like the devs are passionate about their work. So I'm waiting for it to release. I'm waiting for some reviews, and I am me and my brother are like, yeah, we're buying. We're fucking buying this game.
Yeah, I gotta check that out now.
Yeah,
See
dude.
what's up?
Get on the PS4 or PS5.
Jeez.
Yeah, so that's what I'm looking at now and what I've been playing. There's definitely some great games. I'm gonna try and finish a few, get into some more. You know what I mean? I've got a backlog that's needs to be filled. I just bought Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales.
Oh, okay.
I waited for it to go on the PC, and then I waited for it to go on sale too. So I played the first Spider-Man game, was fucking great. I'm happy to play that new one, and then I know the second one's out, and I've heard nothing but great reviews. I know it was in the running for Game of the Year.
Just the gameplay that I've watched happen of it, incredible.
Yeah, web swing's fun in the first one too.
Yes.
Just traversing the map.
Yep.
I don't think I really ever fast traveled but one time.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's something about that game. They just did such a good job with those games.
Yeah.
Incredible.
I know Miles Morales 2 was one that was like a loading screen. I know it was on PS5. I don't know how it was on PS4 or PC, but if they optimized it. You know what I mean? Because I've got an NVMe SSD. You know what I mean? It's got fast load times. I hope they optimized it because it's like the loading screen for certain levels is like the animation of him crawling through a pipe and then like webbing himself out to jump out of it, and that's the loading screen.
Yeah.
And I mean, I haven't really messed with a lot of the newer games that are like that. I know the new God of War is kind of like that, where like you like shimmy between a rock and it's loaded the next area.
So cool.
Yeah,
I love it.
It's really cool. I'm looking forward to it. I'm completing Hogwarts first, so I chose that one first.
Yeah, I've intended to try to get Hogwarts and play it. I have not yet. I'm stuck in my ways with certain games at the moment, but I do need to get myself branching into other realms for sure.
Dude, there's 7 games I should have finished before buying it.
Yeah.
it was like the lowest that ever went on sale. It was like more than half off, I think, or something like that. And I was like, oh fuck, I'm gonna buy it. Plus, I was trying to the last book I was trying to read was Harry Potter, so I'm trying to finish the reading of Harry Potter series, and playing the game definitely got me back into like reading the books and stuff like that. So
yeah,
I want to finish that out, and then I don't think I'm gonna jump. I know I've talked about reading The Lord of the Rings.
Oh yes,
I don't think I'm gonna jump into it. I've got some recommendation of a few sci-fi books that I'm looking for, and I'm like wondering maybe if I want to just jump into some single offs. You know what I mean? Some one-offs and stuff like that.
I don't look, man. All I can say is I will never judge how somebody goes about their reading journey, especially because when it comes down to books, man, Kim only just now got into fantasy books.
Yeah, there's you start going down that rabbit hole. Yeah. You get so many recommendations, and you're like, oh, this is also fucking cool.
Yep.
But it's like, you gotta get through them.
Yeah, it's like, man, I want to read that book, but I also want to read that book, and I think I want to read it more than the other one, so we'll just put it on the book to be read later.
Yeah, the last thing I need to do is repeat the game situation I have with books and just have a bunch of books on the shelves like, yeah, I'm going to read them. I'm reading this one.
You know, it's kind of funny because I feel like book journeys and gaming journeys do parallel each other in one way or the other, which is pretty funny. So I can't tell you how many books I've started and then not finished because I wanted to read the other ones. And the funny thing is like one of the books that I enjoyed reading most was American Gods.
I remember you talking about that one.
Finished that book. Then I went and started reading an autobiography. I got like 2 chapters in and said, forget it. I'm going to reread Jesus. American Gods. Yeah, sorry. Wow. Having one of those moments. Reread American Gods and all the way through a second time. And now I'm like, yeah, I really should get back to reading those other books. So
yeah, but you find one that you like, you're like, well.
Yeah, then there's another one. It's like, man, I'm kind of itching for more of that like fantasy sci-fi thing. It's and
Yeah.
so yeah, it's pretty crazy. But yeah, I feel like they do parallel each other without a doubt.
Definitely.
So I'd say about now is probably a good cutting point. I know we had a lot more conversation to have, and I think it's
Fortnite specifically.
Yeah, I
But
think it's necessary to dedicate an episode toward that.
I've been loving the new season, and I've got no problem talking about that in the next having an episode about it, because this season's been going good.
Yeah. What's especially exciting about this conversation too is it was your first time playing the Battle Royale. So I feel like us putting an entire episode toward this is going to be good, because there's actually more things that, even in looking at this list right now of the things we wanted to touch on, there's so much more.
Yeah, even
that
added to
I
it this
have.
morning and stuff like that. And also, I want Kim on it too.
Yeah, without a doubt.
I know Kim's been playing a lot of the Battle Royale, saying she's been loving it. So
Yeah.
I want to have her on that episode when we talk about.
Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah. So we'll pick up the next episode. You're going to get hit with some Fortnite good. I know also we had a listener ask for a recommendation about equipment. We are going to make sure that we include that in the next episode as well. And I as far as anything Pot of Nerds, you want to reach out to us, give us recommendations, game, movie, you name it, potofnerds@gmail.com. We've got Threads, TikTok, you name it, @Pot of Nerds.
Twitter, Facebook? Is there a Facebook?
All at Pot of Nerds.
All things.
If you want the easiest method to know where to find us officially, you can go to potofnerds.com. Also, when you go there, you're presented with 2 streams. One to the podcast, to listen to the podcast, where you can find the podcast. The other will take you to our Twitch, which is where we do something called Stream of Nerds. And it is a very loose version of the podcast, very chill version, where it could just be me, or it could just individually be Alec or Kim gaming, or it's us as a group gaming, and it's just this like kicked back conversation and gameplay. So potofnerds.com, @potofnerds on all the socials. That's where you can find us. Anything else for you, Alec?
No, I think that's it. Thank you for listening to the podcast. Thanks for, I know we were just looking over some stuff, and we've got some new listeners, it seems. Welcome. And thanks for hanging with us.
Absolutely.
See you next episode.
Later, nerds.
Later.